Hi there, welcome. This is Vince of vinceprep.com and Agos, Japan. It's an exciting time. Clients are getting invited for the HBS interview and I'm helping them prepare. Here are some good tips that can help you prepare for your HBS interview. These are the words from the HBS admissions blog, the admissions director's blog, Dee's blog. Your interviewer will be a member of the admissions board and will be very experienced in meeting with candidates. He or she will have read your application thoroughly. There is no formula for how an interview will be conducted or list of standard questions. That's true, but later on in this video I'll give you a standard list so you can get started and build your confidence. But it is true, the HBS interviewer doesn't have a list of questions. They're highly experienced and they can improvise. They know what they're looking for. Back to their words. Your written application will be a starting point, but the conversation may not stay there very long. So you need to reread your application and be ready to talk about anything in that written application. Could be a topic of conversation. At an alumni interview for Stanford or some other schools, the resume is all they have, and the resume, again, is the starting point for any question. Harvard has much more data, so there's more you need to cover. Be ready to talk about anything in that application that they wanted to confirm. Your interviewer is trying to understand you and assess your ability to thrive in our case method classroom. I'll come back to this point later. This is critical. Once you understand what this means, you'll get how to prepare for this interview and what they're exactly looking for. Finally, they say interviews are one step in our evaluation and selection process. It does not supersede all other elements of your application. So it's one piece. So you might not do well in the interview but still get admitted. You may do very well in the interview and ultimately be denied. After your interview, the interviewer will write a report for your file and the entire application will be reviewed again. The way our model works is that slightly more than half of interviewed candidates will be offered admission. So if you've been invited, you have a slightly better than 50% chance of passing the interview. But again, it's just one piece. They are going to reread your entire file with the report and also with the post-interview reflection that you are going to write after the interview. So the HBS interview is really formal. It's 30 minutes or just under 30 minutes. The length is standardized. So your interview will not finish at 20 minutes and it will not go over 30 minutes. I like that, so that you don't walk out feeling like, oh, I did really well because it went long, or oh, I failed because it went short, or vice versa. The tone is professional and warm, but it's not overly friendly. Don't go in there trying to be buddies with your interviewer. They're highly professional. They are going to give you a poker face. They're not going to give you any indication of how you're doing. In fact, most of my clients who are admitted walk out thinking they probably failed because they say, I don't know how that went at all. They're not going to give you any recognition, maybe not even a smile. They won't stare at you coldly. They won't attack you, but they're also not going to they are highly trained to not give you any false impression or false sense of security. And again, I respect that. Unlike alumni interviewers who usually say, oh, you're going to do great. Oh, I'll give you a great report. The Harvard interviewer says nothing because they still don't have enough data. The interview, they may love you and you may still be denied. Either way, they're not going to show you anything about how they're feeling about you. Don't forget that the small talk counts. At the beginning of the interview, there may be some small talk. If you flew to campus, how was your trip? If you're interviewing at a hub location. Also at the end of the interview, what are you doing after this? Or what have you done so far today? If you're on campus or at a hub. That's part of the interview. Don't take it too seriously and don't give a long answer, but also don't say something too casual. Don't talk about food or shopping. You know, use your judgment. It's just like a job interview in that sense. It's part of the interview, so don't let down your guard too much. Just by contrast with alumni interviews, which is still, unfortunately, I think it's one of their big weaknesses. Stanford only does alumni interviews, and I've asked the admissions office why they don't. and they haven't really given me a straight answer. I think it's a logistics and cost issue. Alumni interviews for Stanford or other schools that use alumni for the interview, there's no standardization at all. The length of the interview varies widely. The language used in the interview, if it's outside the U.S., varies widely. The topics could include a lot of behavioral questions. The topics could include a lot of non-work things like a great book that you read. Harvard, on the other hand, I would say the questions asked fit a narrower range of topics. So it's unpredictable in the sense that they will ask whatever they want. They're not following a script or a set list. On the other hand, it's highly predictable because they are simply trying to do one thing and one thing only, and that is, again, in their words, check your ability to thrive and survive in the case method classroom. That is the only objective of the interview. Whereas the Stanford interviewer, the alumni, may just simply be trying to make friends with you or build his or her network. So that whether or not you're admitted to Stanford, which he or she cannot control, that you will like Stanford and you've made a connection and a friend with this person at least. That's why they're volunteering their time. So what should you do? How can you prepare? There's two ways to prepare. You can go outside in or inside out. Outside in means you buy the Harbus official or unofficial questions guide, which is probably a good thing to do. It's a good use of $50 last time I checked. It's a fundraiser for the student newspaper at Harvard Business School. It's probably good risk management to buy that PDF. Go through the questions there. The analysis of the questions behind those questions is not bad. But don't stop there. It's not about preparing for every question that's been asked in the last 5 years, because you're not really building up your own internal strategy, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing the stories that you want to talk about. So build your own question list. And this is what I do with my clients. So here's a list of questions that you should get started using right now. Use my mirror method. Look on my website or just Google Vince mirror method. You'll find this method. It's something I learned at Stanford in theater classes, but it really works for interviews as well. I won't go into that too much. You can look it up. Mirror method. It works. These are the questions you should feed into the mirror method. It involves using just simple note cards and a mirror. First of all, tell me about yourself or walk me through your resume. They don't ask both. The question behind each question is slightly different. If I say tell me about yourself, it means I know you on paper, but I just want to hear how you introduce yourself from the perspective of how you might introduce yourself to a classmate. So this is more professionally, summarize your background. Personally, outside work, summarize your background. It's more quick, less than a minute, just snapshots, keywords. It's a point of jump off for follow-ups and conversations. If I say, walk me through your resume, and I'm a Harvard interviewer who has not only your resume, but your entire application file, 30 pages of PDF document, it's because I want to check and see how you explained it. Maybe I'm a little confused by some choices you made, and I want to hear how you explain why you majored in something and then chose a totally different career, which is fine. I just want to hear your logic, or why you made a very unexpected career move. So if they say walk me through your resume, I think they're looking to hear the logic of why you made certain choices. Prepare both types of answers. They may ask either way. Practice that one every single day. I mean, guaranteed they're going to say something like one or two of those questions for Harvard or any other school you applied to. That's just like basic. And you should totally nail that answer and be comfortable doing it. Backwards, forwards, in any order. You should have a 1-minute version, a 2-minute version, 3-minute version, and you should be prepared to be interrupted at any point in either speech so that you're comfortable with it. Absolutely do that every single day. Practice that answer. They may ask about your undergraduate academic experience, including the activities outside of classes. They're trying to find out if you fit the academic culture at Harvard Business School. What do you look for in an institution? What kinds of things do you do when you're in an academic environment, which is what Harvard Business School is. Why did you choose to work at this company or that company? They want to understand if you set goals and realize them. And again, they want to understand your motivations. How does your firm compare to others in your industry, or what are the industry trends, or what do you think keeps the CEO of a certain company up at night, or what would you do if you were the CEO of your company, or what's the brand of your company if it's not well known? The questions here they're trying to understand your analytical skills and self-awareness about your company relative to others. It's very much a skill that's going to be tested and honed in the case method classroom. Can you explain a complex issue using very simple logic, especially with your current job? If it's anything technical, how would you explain what you do if you're some sort of engineer to a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old kid, or to someone's grandparent? Explain to me what you do in completely non-technical terms. That's an important skill. You should be able to do that. When they ask about your strengths and weaknesses, they don't always ask it as a question, like what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, but you better know them. I encourage my clients to be able to talk about 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses with multiple examples of each one in a professional context, in an academic context, outside of work. They may dig into this and they may follow up on this. So know yourself. Have good weaknesses, meaning they're real, not just, I'm a perfectionist. I work too hard. That's really boring. Have a real weakness, but also show that you're in control of it. It doesn't control you. You're aware of it. You compensate for it. You surround yourself with people who have different skill set than you. And you also have coping mechanisms so this weakness doesn't overwhelm you, and it won't overwhelm you at Harvard Business School. When did you decide to get an MBA, and why do you want an MBA? They're just trying to get a sense, do you have a realistic view of what an MBA can and cannot do for you? And then following up on that, sometimes they'll say, why Harvard? Other schools like Stanford always say, why Stanford? Harvard doesn't, because they know why it's Harvard. Still, though, they may ask, and if they do ask, I think they're just, again, trying to get a sense of, do you have a realistic sense of what it is and what it isn't? And also, do you really want to do 550 or whatever cases? Do you want to go to school 5 days a week? Do you want their academic environment, or are you just chasing some brand or doing something because it will make other people happy? Is this really where you want to be? Post-MBA plans, again, it's just trying to get a sense of, are you ambitious but also realistic? It's in the written application. They may just want to hear you say it, or they may want to follow up on what you wrote, just to get a sense of, are you too fixed on what you want to do? Do you have a plan B if what you want to do seems unrealistic? Or on the other hand, do you want to really achieve something huge? Do you have a big vision, which matters a lot to Harvard Business School? These are supposedly the future CEOs of the world, and they want to know that you fit that culture and you're in that club. Finally, they'll often say, anything else you wish I asked, or they may say, surprise me or tell me something else. This is where they want to know if you can close the sale. If you really don't have anything else, then just say, thanks for your time. I hope I've shown you my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm just really excited about this opportunity, and I want to thank you a lot, and I hope I, have the chance to join you or something like that. Just close the sale. Let's keep it positive and focused. Or if there is really something critical, but never bring up a weakness at this point. You don't want to end the interview with a question mark. You want to end it with an exclamation point. So know what has and hasn't been covered. If it's been really serious, say something fun but not too light. If it's been a little light, bring it back to something serious. And if there's nothing else to say truly, just thank them for their time, or to put it back to them. Is there anything else you want me to address? Is there anything else I haven't? Is there anything I haven't addressed that is of concern to you? Probably there isn't. If there were, they wouldn't be asking this question. But it's a nice way for you to politely signal to them that you've really covered the points that you care most about. But don't be surprised, again, if it's 25 minutes, she has to fill the times. I've had clients who've been told, surprise me, like 3 times. Because again, it's got to be 29 minutes and a half or 30 minutes on the dot for the sake of consistency and fairness. I leave you with a quote. This is a client of mine who's graduated graduated last year. I don't promote myself too much, but I just thought this was a nice reminder. Work hard Enjoy the process. Never give up. If they've invited you, it means they like you. It means you have more than a 50% chance of getting it interviewed. So try hard to be yourself and try hard to be confident as you can be in the classroom. Don't let the environment of the nervous energy of the interview cause you to be less than your best. But know that they do like you. You've been invited, and that means a lot. So be your best. Be confident. Prepare every single day for this interview because why not? It's a great opportunity. I want to wish you well. Thanks for watching my video here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to be the first to know when I've uploaded a new video. That's what subscribing does for you. And it helps me too. It builds my channel, builds my audience. Thanks again for your time. I wish you the very, very best. Bye for now.
Untitled Chapter.